cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers. Happy January 30th to all of you. Thank you for watching Sportsbook Review. This is Betting with the Bag. What a day we had yesterday as a group. I managed to give a little bit of money back in NHL, but man, as a group, we destroyed. Maxwell Smart, 11-2. Matt Randall, Taint play of the day hits again. Maxwell Smart, best bet, hits again. Matt Randall goes 4-1 yesterday. Trot Wham 2-0. Mark Unkelfer, play of the day, hits twice in a row. Dom Ricci crushes NHL. Ron Crawford crushes NHL. Man, we were eating with Chris Brady, 3-0 in NBA last night. Hit his 2-team parlay. God, it felt good. I went 6-0. Tailing Maxwell Smart and Matt Randall, 6-0. My God. And those are only half-unit bets. So that lightning goal with less than a second left will give me a push on that under in Kings game. Both my under, the under in the Battle of Alberta, it was 1-0 after the first. I mean, I'm in shape to cash that. And then 4 goals scored in the second period, and then Benning ties it up at 3, worst case scenario for me. So a disappointing night in NHL. Teddy saying that Thunder bet's the best bet of the year. We all jump all over that. They win by 20. We were sharp yesterday, and it feels good. We have a great show today. I'm going to have to get through NHL very quickly because in 12 minutes, we're going to be joined by the Big Ragu. The Big Ragu will be joining us. He's going to give us his Super Bowl looks and his prop action. I had the audible yesterday with Donnie Rightside. We went through Donnie has 12 prop bets he's locked down. Teddy Covers yesterday on this show gave us 8 prop bets that he's on. So we've got a lot of fodder to talk about and break down. Then Teddy Covers will be joining us. We're going to break down this NBA card. We're going to hear if he has any looks in NCAA basketball. And then Maxwell Smart will come in after an 11-2 night. I'm excited. I'm thankful to be here and very happy to be here. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. We got Neil P. Neil P. first in the chat. Good hustle, Neil. Good hustle, Neil. Omar J. Legend in the house said, God bless, what up to Jimmy and the whole chat family. God, it's been an emotional week and just thankful. That's the important thing. Love stronger, care more, and be thankful. Von Polo in the house. I absolutely loved Teddy. Yesterday was an awesome day. Chris Brady, backdoor cover. That under didn't hit in Calgary, Edmonton, sadly. Backdoor cover. God, it breaks me that it didn't hit. There's Matt Randall in the house. Taint has caught fire. Dave in Cal 48. Paul Costa ready to go. Cobra Sports. Rod Zawacki. Bill McHugh. Great night last night. Baylor. Grizzlies. OKC. Mitch Bruner in the house. D. Summers ready to eat. Oops. Squad cap. Ready to get to work. Plus 12 unit day. Oops, squad cap 68. Great job. Mo Sauce says, why did Tampa want to score so bad in the last minute? Last minute, try last second. God. Pissed me off. Drexler, because those are full unit. Whatever. Drexler in the house. Mally Mal ready to get to work. Peter, Lucas, Zombie Pie, Anna Merrick, Alex Ramirez, Canas Cat, Jerry, we the best. Alvin Smith, Michael S., Doug Barnhouse, 6-1 yesterday. Tasha M., Dave Burke, Lance LaRose, Gerald Jones, Raven in the desert. DJ Big Boss. Jin Rummy, ready to get to work. Richard Lee, Nilo, Joey Avang, saying anything on the early game. I have nothing on the early game, but we can get some in-play action. There's Nut Flush Allen in the house. And can you please take a second, give a special shout out to our awesome Lily. Today is Vegas Gun's birthday. Just a little thought for a guy who means so much to the Low Bag family. Vegas Gun's birthday today. We hand out the Vegas Gun Award for capping excellence. And Vegas Gun continues to be, the heart and soul of us and what we do. And thank you for bringing that up, Nut Flush Allen. Vegas Gun's birthday today. Vegas Gun died. It's funny. I don't like using the word passed away for some reason. It's just so soft. People die, and it's fucking sad. And pass away, I don't know. It's just something. Vegas Gun died, and he meant so much to us, and he still does, and he will always. And Lily Gunn is in our chat all the time, and the first thing Omar J. Legend says, family, in his very first comment, and that's That's what we are. That's what this is. And Vegas Gun was such an enormous piece and continues to be such an enormous piece. Thank you for sharing that, Nut Flush Allen. Prince of the City in the house. Never got the call this morning from Rafa. Rafa is not in yet. That's why we had some late Super Bowl stuff we were shooting, Prince. So we still got to get you locked in. We need you in this show, Prince of the City. Yeah, Drexler says goal with a half second left. Very disappointed. There's Coco Bongo in the house. Nasty Nate. Trot Wham. Trot Wham. Look at that. Trot Wham 2-0 in NBA spots here. Brooklyn Funk Project. Ready to go. Primetime DJS. One for the money. Big Ragu, he's right there. He's going to be joining us in minutes. Ben Sports 24/7. Cassius played today easily yesterday. Michigan State under. Ben Sports 24/7 delivers the goods on the show. There's Cap Money Benny. Guillermo Zertucci. Serious business. All right, let's get to work right now. Dom Ricci 4-0 in NHL video picks. Dom Ricci Eaton. All right. Let's get to work right now. DJ Big Boss saying Vegas Gun lives through us every day. Very, very lucky to have him in our life. There's Yog Buddha, the sweaty butcher. All right, let's go. Let's get to work right now. NHL record continues to fucking sit there. 0-2 last night, 0-2-1. Larry's on the ones and twos for today's show. What up, Larry? Larry, can you pop up that NHL record for us? There's Juan Ruiz in the house. Oh, yuck. Yuck. All right, I've already locked in 2 bets. I locked in the Sabres -1 at +166. Let's see what the market is telling us right now in this spot. First off, we're getting a great number on the Sabres because Linus Ullmark is hurt. And Montreal is now the favorite. I should have waited. Damn it. Could have got a plus line. Let's see what I could get right now. God damn it. Wow, look at Bet365 doing 15 cents. Jesus, let me just go on to Bet365 right now. Ah, that's aggravating. 15-cent move at Bet365 towards the Habs. So, Linus Ullmark is hurt. What do we know about Carter Hutton? All right, Carter Hutton is on this 0-7-4 streak. He hasn't won a game in a long time. We know that the players absolutely love him. He's well known to be a very character guy in the dressing room. God, I should have waited. That's so aggravating. I got +225 on the -1.5. I'm afraid to see what it is now. Let's quickly go to it. Oh, God, I should have waited. Puck line. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, that hurts. Oh, that hurts so bad. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Oh, I should just cancel the show. I should just stop the show right now. Oh, my goodness. Oh, that hurts. Oh. Oh, that hurts so much. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my God. Oh. Oh, God. All right, it's now +290. Oh. So Brandon Gallagher and Jonathan Drouin are probably both in the lineup. That's probably what's happening right now. Oh, man. I just instantly started sweating. Oh, my goodness. I'm sweating buckets all of a sudden. All right. Oh, my God. All right. What an atrocious. Makes me want to throw my computer. Oh, God. All right. Oh, man. That hurts. Okay. Oof. Shit. All right. It's now +290. I got +225. Absolutely ridiculous. So Gallagher and Drouin are going to be in the lineup. We like that. Get on the -1 right now. Get on the -1 right now for the Sabres. What an asshole I am. Tasha M says Sabres not the pick. Tasha M. Take the Canadians then. Take the Canadians. And when you show up here tomorrow, we'll talk it out. Okay, sorry. Let's get back to this. Carter Hutton is a character guy. This Sabres team is going to play so hard in front of him tonight. They lose 5-2 to the Senators. This is as angry as a Sabres team as you want. We talk about in NBA how you want to fade a team with two players coming back. The Habs Stars are coming back. Ugh. God, that hurts. All right, so let's just move on. I don't want to talk about this game anymore. I'm on the Sabres -1. Sabres -1. Oh, yuck. Alex Ramirez, Spidey play of the days on the Coyotes -1.5. I too am on the Coyotes -1.5. Here's another angry group. Very angry group. Who's the most angry of all of them is Rick Tocchet, who's the toughest guy on this team. He's very, very upset. Both teams on the second half of back-to-backs. Kings lost 4-2 last night. They're not going to have Doughty, most likely not going to have Doughty in the lineup. The Yotes lost 4-2 last night. They're 1-5-1 their last 7. They're going to fall out of the playoff race. Hinostroza says we can all make excuses. We can make all the excuses we want for the first game back from the break, but we had 3 really great practices. We should have had a better effort out there. Lawson Krause says there's no excuses for Thursday night. We got the kinks out. Now it's time to get back and go. We've got to go. We can't keep losing points. They're huge points right now, and it's only going to get tougher and tougher. Talk gets angry. Everybody's angry. Everybody. Coyotes -1.5. I got it at +155, I believe, at Heritage. And then Predators at Devils scares me. I mean, I wanted a better line for Predators first period. They cashed the full game. They cashed the full game. Jin Rummy says that we're wasting our time, energy, and money today in NHL. Well, we'll see when we come back here tomorrow. I'm on the Coyotes -1.5. I'm on the Sabres -1. I'm staying away from this Predators Devil spot, Pekka Rinne, Blackwood. Yes, I expect the Predators to go on a run and make the playoffs, but I don't want to mess here with road favorites. They open up at -135. They're now at -134. I just can't even believe. I'm just still so angry about this Buffalo spot. I'm so angry. Cobra Sports says I'm half tempted to fire on the Devils. Lance LaRose giving us a final score of 5-3 Arizona. In that Arizona game, I expect Darcy Kemper to be in goal. I expect Darcy Kemper to come in on his white horse, just like Maxwell Smart will be in today's show, and cash us. Don Reed says 11-3 off a loss. Preds 11-3 off a loss. Cash for +140. And Don Reed says never wasting energy on NHL. I agree, Dom. I'm on the Coyotes -1.5, and I'm just appalled. Just before we bring in our big ragu, because there's only 3 games on the card. Those are my 3 bets. I'm just very curious to see what I would have got right now. I'm afraid to put this in. 105 and 290, a +200. All right, well, it's like $68 if I win, so... Oh man, that hurt real bad. Let's let God. I just feel gutted. It's so funny how that. I mean, geez, just on a market move. I thought everybody knew that Carter Hutton was going to be a goal. I guess what it is that Drew and Gallagher will be back for the Habs. Oh, that hurts. All right, what up, Boston Nick? We got Boston Nick in the house, aka Mr. Fatfist. Thank you for joining our chat. Kareem Walker. Ready to go. And we have just the man to change my energy around from seeing that market move. Oh, that hurts. Welcome to the show. A man who used to be on all the time, who we miss dearly. Fresh off celebrating his birthday. The Big Ragu in the house. Big Ragu, thanks so much for joining us. How are you doing on this Thursday morning?
Doing great, man. Don't let that little market move get you down, man. There'll be plenty more opportunities, but you know what? You're still going to cash it. So you're missing a quarter unit here or there. We'll make it up tonight on something else.
Yes, we will make it up. That is a sharp-looking lightning hat you are rocking, Ragu. I love it. Ragu, Super Bowl 54 awaits, Chiefs 49ers. How are you attacking this game? At first, let's go from a side and total standpoint and then move into your prop market. How are you attacking the Super Bowl?
Every way I can. I got a little plus 500 action on KC, so that's kind of a big determining factor which way, whether I'm going to double up or I'm going to just kind of let it ride in that regard. But I'm in good shape there. As far as the side goes, I think there's going to be a lot of money. There's a strong California contingent in the chat. We know a lot of guys love the Frisco train, and a lot of money is going to be coming in on San Fran. I think this weekend. I mean, the early market moves were KC's way, so I'm not taking that into account because, like I say, the majority of bets are coming this weekend, Friday, Saturday. So that's when the heavy money is going to start to hit the board. So right now, I'm on KC as far as the side goes on the plus 500.
Yeah, I got KC at plus 800. Sadly, I only put $100 on it. But if you did not have KC at plus 500, would you still be leaning in the Chiefs' direction?
Yeah, I got a couple reasons. Just based on, I think Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the NFL, best quarterback without a doubt. Andy Reid, the knock on him is he can't win in January. Well, we're not going to be in January. We're going to be in February, just for the record. And they got a guy, Steve Spagnuolo, has got some nice playoff experience, a Super Bowl with the Giants. He's the difference maker for the Chiefs this year. The defense is starting to play a lot better. I know San Fran's defense is a tough look for KC, but I think the speed, they have some options, once they get away from Sherman. Up front, the front seven is going to be nasty as hell, so they're going to have to get real creative. I think the look here with KC is going to be similar to what they've seen with Tennessee, but San Fran's D is a little better. I think they're going to try to run the ball first and then throw it downfield. But I look for the tight ends to get more involved in this game, not so much like they did in the championship games on both sides with Kittle and Kelsey, the 2Ks. So I think we'll get into that later on the props.
Are you making any moves on the totals or team totals?
No, I'm not on any of the totals right now. I was going to look at the props on the team totals actually. So as of this moment, I have no look on a team total.
All right. Well, let's get into the prop market and how you are attacking this.
Yeah, I'm pretty. Usually when I get into the props, I'll probably play like about a half a dozen because I got all these sheets here, all the major casinos in Vegas. The Westgate. Online, Bet Online and U-Wagers, who I usually look at online. But in Vegas, when I'm out there, all the sharp casinos, the ones I'm going to be looking at, Westgate, Circa, South Point, William Hill, kind of a square place, but they got a ton. But anyways, there's a lot of sand mines, a lot of land mines, I should say, a lot of traps in those props. So, they're heavily juiced. So I like to take a swing at a scoring prop. Like every year I try to look at who's going to, score the first touchdown. I came real close last year with Cordarrelle Patterson. I had him at 40-1. This year, they kind of cut back on the odds there. So I'm going to look at Mahomes for the first prop. I'm going to look at Mahomes to have a rush of 11.5 yards. I think they're going to bring pressure, KC. They're going to, Mahomes is going to be constantly moving that pocket. So he's the type of guy that's sneaky fast, he's like a cat. He could just tuck the ball away and take off. So his longest rush of the game is going to be 11.5 yards over that. I got that for minus 110. That's one look I have. And then another one I have, will Mahomes score a touchdown? Plus 450 on that too. And I'm sorry, 2 touchdown passes by Mahomes in any quarter, plus 450.
2 TD passes in any quarter at plus 450, as well as Mahomes over 11.5 longest rush.
Yeah.
Did you stay off of Mahomes yards over? That opened up at 26.5 at some places, 28.5 at others, and it shot up to 32.5 at some spots. Did you decide not to take his full game rush yards over?
Yeah, I just took the one play, 11.5. I think that's going to come at some point in the day where he's just going to, put the ball away and take off and run, And then I was looking at some of the other, the other prop I looked at was some passing yardage, but I decided not to get involved in that. Like I said, there's so many props, man. I'm just looking for the what I think has the best value overall. I don't want to get caught by a couple yards here or there. I just figure I broke it down to like a play or two. And I just figured at some point in the game he's going to tuck the ball away and take off and run. So, and these are all like 1-unit plays on these. Nothing major, no big swings here. Just trying to maximize on a couple quality plays. Another one I like is Hardman. Now Hardman, he's a dangerous kickoff guy, right? Punt return, kickoff. So I like for him, if he scores the first touchdown, getting 20-1 on him, and I'm getting 12-1 on Sanders for the first touchdown on the other side with San Fran, and then anytime touchdown from Hardman, for punt return or maybe a catch during the game, plus 400 on that.
Hardman, anytime touchdown. So 20-1 on first touchdown, and then you're getting, sorry, was that 4-1 on anytime touchdown?
Yeah, correct.
On Hardman. Sanders, first TD, what did you get that at?
20-1.
Oh, for both Hardman and Sanders?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. 20-1.
No, 12-1. I'm sorry. Sanders was 12-1. 12-1 on Sanders.
12-1 first TD. All right, so we got 2 Mahomes props and 2 Hardman props. Are you taking Sanders anytime touchdown or just focusing on the first touchdown?
Yeah, that's just the first touchdown only there.
All right.
Sanders.
I like it. What else are you looking at?
Okay, now I looked at Hill, Tyreek Hill. I figure he's going to get in a gimmick play some way, a jet sweep of some sort. And, when he hits the corners, I know there's a lot of speed with the linebackers at San Fran, but over and under on the yardage is 5.5. So if he runs a jet sweep, and it's a gimmick play, we know, he'll be lucky if he touches the ball twice that way in the game, I think. So 5.5 yards over with our guy Tyreek Hill, minus 110.
Over 5.5 rush yards from Tyreek Hill. Mark Unkelfer coming in with his play today. I copied and pasted it. Dom Ricci looking at the Watkins over 49.5 yards. Trotwam loving the Sanders anytime touchdown. My guy Sammy liking your Hardman to score first at plus 2,000. What else are you looking at, Ragu?
Let's see. Here's one. Now this is Brady-esque, and I didn't take two. I'm more focused on the KC stuff, as you can see, because there's so many friggin' props, and I'm trying to lean that side anyway. So I didn't put my efforts on the other side. I'm probably losing a little bit of value doing that, but there's so many plays. I'm just trying to narrow it down a little bit. So the one other play I did look at, and I need some help on this one from the chat and you, with Jimmy G. He's Brady-esque as far as him getting out of the pocket and whatnot. But I figure he'll probably see a little pressure, as good as that offensive line is for San Fran. I think they'll draw up some scheme plays that's going to kind of flush him out a little bit. So his over and under for the game is 3.5 yards rushing, but one play could be 2.5. His longest play of the day is 2.5. That's the other one. So I figured I didn't take the over 3.5 because if KC gets in the backfield and sacks him, then he's got to make up that yardage. But I did take Jimmy Garoppolo over 2.5 yards rushing, longest play of the game, minus 110.
I like that. Longest rush over 2.5 yards. We talked about his full game rushing yards at 4.5 yesterday on the Audible, and I like this better than that. None of us jumped on the over for Jimmy G at 4.5, but I like this look. Jimmy G, longest rush over 2.5 yards. I like that look at minus 110. I like that, Ragu. Is that? Do you have any other looks on these on this prop board? Because you've given us what?
How many? 6, 7?
7 so far. Anything else?
Yeah, that's it. That's it, man. I got to keep my money in my pocket and bet it on the game too. So I don't want to give it all to the props. So usually on the props, I usually hit them like around 4 out of 6 or sometimes 5 out of 6. The worst year I had betting props was I went like 2 and 4 one year, but a lot of them are like the two that I can lose right off the get go is the first score touchdown. That could be anything there. So but usually when I get involved with the yardage props, I'm pretty good with those. Usually I'll kind of focus in either a running back, quarterback, or a wide receiver. Now I didn't take any of the Kelsey or Kittle props yet, and there's not a lot on there, believe it or not. I think there's like 5 or 6 at max, and that's looking at the Westgate, and they're pretty similar looks as far as it's yardage related, catches, that type of thing. So I don't know. I'm still, the jury's still out. I'll have to look into those.
If you could take if you could take Kelsey receiving yards over 76.5 or Kittle receiving yards over 73.5, and you had to take one over, what would you take?
I would probably lean with Kelsey in that regard. Just because here's the thing I think about Garoppolo and Mahomes. Not the big difference, but with Garoppolo, his looks are better between the hash marks, and if they run some plays in the middle field, then I would say definitely I would look at Kittle. But if he's got to throw across the field in some way, and then I think the bigger yardage plays are going to come outside the hash marks and present more opportunities for Mahomes for those bigger type plays. But Kittle, I think Kittle, he's going to definitely be involved. I think both of these guys are going to be big time in this game for them to have success either way. So I would probably say Kelsey with the overall yardage.
Same with the chat. Everybody liking Kelsey all day, except for our Damon Santori, who's liking the under on Kelsey. But Alvin, Sammy, Michael S. all liking Kelsey. And there's our guy Neil P. in the house. Lecce Jungle Warrior. Lecce Jungle Warrior. All right, I like it from our big Ragu. We got Mahomes over 11.5 longest rush. Mahomes, 2 TD passes in any quarter at plus 450. That's a beauty. Hardman, 20-1 first TD and 4-1 anytime TD. Sanders, first TD at 12-1. Tyreek Hill, over 5.5 rush yards. And Jimmy G, longest rush, over 2.5 yards. From our guy, Big Ragu, are you going to be at the Orleans this weekend in Vegas?
I'll be sharing love all around town, but yes, I'll be at the Orleans watching the game. We got a Super Bowl party there, and I'm going to invite all our guys that are out in the Vegas area to come out and hang with us in the Orleans this weekend on Sunday or Saturday. I'll be there all weekend basically, but I'll be going around town getting some prop bets down like the casinos I mentioned, and then Saturday on I'll be at the Orleans just enjoying the time with the guys.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining us, giving us his Super Bowl looks. The Big Ragu. Follow him on Twitter at Big Ragu62. Have a spectacular weekend and film as much stuff as you can for us and send it out. We'd love to live vicariously through the Big Ragu. Thank you so much for joining us, my man.
All right, guys. Hey, good luck to everybody and cash them tickets. We'll send the information as it comes in to you.
There he is, the Big Ragu. Dom Reed says Boston the sauce tonight on Who Bangin'. Ragu and DJ. TJ says like San Fran KC team total over 13.5 first half. And Damon Santori thinks that the under is definitely in play because we know so many people are hammering the over. We're just about to bring on Teddy Covers. Teddy Covers coming to us after yesterday's very successful Oklahoma City Thunder spot. He said it was the best look of the year, and they win by 20 points. 20 points. It was just locked in from the get-go, and he's ready to join us now. Coming to us live from Las Vegas, Nevada. Please welcome to the show, Teddy Covers. How you doing this morning, my man?
I'm doing pretty good, Jimmy. How about yourself, man? I got no complaints off of last night. I know Maxwell Smart had a big night. Obviously, OKC was a wire-to-wire, no sweat job, and all in all, I got no complaints. Well, I got some complaints. I always got complaints, but it's good going into Thursday. Thank you.
It is. It absolutely is. And great job with the Thunder. I now have to break down this NBA card, and I'm excited to do it. And I need your help to roll through. Have you got to the window with any look so far? There was one look I was very close to getting to the window with, but I saw that the market was going against me. So I was like, you know what? Why don't I just wait and see how far it goes? And let me see if that's continued. And it stopped. Okay, I should just make a move here on the show. So we'll get to that when we do. Have you got to the window with anything in NBA?
I made one move. I took Utah plus 1.5 at Denver. I like the Jazz off back-to-back defensive shortcoming losses. Some of the quotes coming out of the locker room last night. And some of that was just they ran into a team that was making shots. The Spurs were hitting shots last night. But the minutes were reasonable for all of Utah's players. Denver's a long way from being healthy. These are two teams with even records right now. So it makes it a very meaningful game. And I think the Jazz are the better of the two teams right now, even on the second of back-to-back. So I'll take my shot with Utah plus 1.5 against the Nuggets tonight. That's in pocket.
That makes a ton of sense in this spot. D. Somebody says, what sportsbook did Teddy make his prop bets at? I've gone through 5 books and can't find them. He made them at Westgate. That's where all the main cappers go when the Westgate announces their props. Is that fair? Did you make all your bets at Westgate, Teddy?
Oh, no, I didn't make all of them at Westgate, but I made them all at books here in Vegas. Westgate has good numbers. Caesars has good numbers. South Point has good numbers. There's plenty of numbers around town. But what prop was he struggling to find? Because I didn't think I gave anything that was obscure yesterday. Maybe the Zion one.
Yeah, maybe the Zion one. I'm not sure which one. D, let us know what you are talking about. All right, let's hammer this Jazz game a little bit deeper. Trotwam also leaning Jazz first half full game. Jazz 14-11 on the road. Nuggets 18-6 at home, but put a line through that record. Now we have a Nuggets team that has no Murray, no Millsap, no Plumlee. Gary Harris is back from his adductor strain, but he's on a minutes restriction. So that's going to hurt them. Nuggets coming off 104-96 loss at Memphis on Tuesday. They look tired. They didn't look in any kind of rhythm at all. Utah comes in 11-3 on the month, although they've lost 2 straight. Coming in on a back-to-back. Let's see what the market is telling us on this spot. Denver opening up at -1.5. There's been no change. So you're getting them plus 1.5. And you decided to take the 1.5 over the money line. And the money line, plus 100. Best is at plus 108 at 5 dimes. First look, and the only look at this point on Teddy's card is Jazz plus 1.5. Is that right, Teddy?
On the NBA side of the card, yes.
All right, let's keep rolling through this card. Okay, well, I'll go to the one that I'm going to make a move on right now. I'm going to make a move on the over 228 in 76ers Hawks. Sixers pace last 5 hasn't been that fast, 14th in the NBA, and I know maybe they're a little bit out of rhythm potentially with Embiid coming back, but Al Horford almost had a triple-double with Embiid coming back. I know that Simmons 17, 4, and 5. That's sort of what we're going to deal with when Embiid is in the lineup. When Embiid's not in the lineup, Simmons goes off. But the reason, and I don't like taking overs with the Sixers without Josh Richardson. But that's why we're getting the 228 against Hawks. The reason why I like this is because Alex Len, Bruno Fernando, Jabari Parker all out for the Hawks. So they move John Collins over to the 5. The paint is going to be wide open for the Sixers all game long. So if the Sixers are going to be scoring, that means the Atlanta Hawks have to be scoring. 244 points at Toronto was scored on Tuesday night in that 130-114 loss. I just see the paint being wide open, the Sixers being able to score, and the Hawks have to answer. The Hawks have to, I'll bring that up in a sec. The Hawks have to answer. So I'm on the over 228. I'm going to line shop right now. What do you think about this Sixers-Hawks spot?
So I'm certainly not going to try to talk you out of any Atlanta Hawks game over the total. Hawks, Wizards, the teams that are pushing the pace on offense, have capable scorers, and lack any semblance of a low-post defensive stopper. Those are easy teams to bet over the total, even in totals in this range. So I wouldn't try to talk you out of it. The Sixers have shown no ability to beat Atlanta for whatever reason and beat them by margin. The Hawks have kind of had their number. Philly with much bigger games on tap than this one. You look at their upcoming schedule. They have, the Milwaukee and Miami and all that coming up. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Philly goes through the motions a little bit in this game tonight. And that means even more that it's more likely that the Hawks' pace, will be the pace that carries the flow. So I wouldn't talk at him over there. It didn't make my card, but it's not anything that raises a red flag or dings a bell or anything like that. No. Sure, it makes a ton of sense.
I just feel like the paint's going to be wide open. So even if the Sixers don't play with heightened intensity, that will probably affect them defensively as well. I like your breakdown on it. A couple questions coming in. D. Summers was talking about the prop bets you made about no scoring in the first 5 minutes, in the first 7 minutes of the game.
Oh, you can find those at every book. You find 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, 7 minutes. Different books have different numbers. That's what I was saying, where I bet a little bit. I was hedging myself between the 5 and the 7 minutes, but yeah, those are widely available. I'm confident if you shop around, you'll find those props.
Big Ragoo says, Jimmy asked Teddy about alternate line missing KC -3.5. Nothing lower than 7.5 there. Everything else everywhere else offers KC minus 3.5. Do they know something? At my book, I can get KC minus 12 at plus 300. Do you know what Ragu's referring to?
No. What?
Yeah.
What's it? That there were some books that offer the alternative point spread of KC minus 3.5, but he can't find that number. Usually they go up to a touchdown. It usually starts 7.5, 10.5, 14.5. Sometimes they have the dog. They'll put the dog up to 3.5. But again, the more sports books you have, the better off you are. Okay, and Super Bowl props is at the top of the list because the books don't correlate numbers. It's just this book's taking action and this book's taking action, and there's no screen where they're watching what the other one's doing. And the line variance between one book and another can be dramatic, and it can increase over the course of the weekend. So if you can't find one of the props that you want, go to the sportsbookreview.com page that lists the sports books and open a new account today because this stuff is widely available. And if your books doesn't have it, you need to have more than one account. And if your two books don't have it, you need to have more than two accounts. And SBR obviously offers all the sign-up bonuses and all of that kind of stuff. There's great stuff for Super Bowl. So if you're struggling to find a line, open a new account. Plain and simple.
All right, more questions coming in. I'll start hammering Teddy with those questions once we've broken down the action on the hard court. Let's move on and keep hammering this NBA card. Teddy has already given the Jazz plus 1.5, and I find that very, very appealing as well. Trotwam back in that, liking it first half and full game. I've given out the over 228. There was 227.5s available, and the over at 228, or excuse me, the under 228 at Pinnacle had gone up to minus 109. That's why I waited, because I thought, man, am I going to see 227.5s, 227s? But that is not the case. All right, let's start from the top of this card. Raptors, Cavaliers, Toronto, Cleveland. Toronto opening up at minus 10, now 10.5s on the board. Total opened up at 220. Now we see 221.5s on the board. Raptors pace last 5, 7th in the NBA, 102.20 possessions a game. Cavs pace last 5, 22nd in the NBA. Raptors coming off that big win, 16-point win over the Hawks. Lowry became our assist franchise leader over Tiny Arms Calderon. They've now won 8 straight. Baby Arms Calderon is a better nickname for him. Toronto got 24 points each from Ibaka and Siakam. And the good news ends there. Gasol left with left hamstring tightness. That is exactly the hamstring that he was out for 12 games. And then we lost OG. Anunoby goes down as well. And what was his injury? I thought I had it here. I don't. But he left the game as well. We're already without McCaw, without Hollis Jefferson, which means Siakam and Ibaka are going to be playing heavy minutes. Heavy minutes. For the Cavs, they're coming off 125-111 loss at home to New Orleans on Tuesday night. They've lost 8 of 9. Sexton playing well, Porter playing well. Darius Garland was rested. He had the flu. It was the second night of a back-to-back. Teddy, Raptors, Cavaliers, what do you think here?
So this has been a very one-sided series. You know, since the start of the 2018-19 season, you know, it's not that long ago, but since the start of last year, they've met 6 times, and Toronto has covered this double-digit point spread in 5 of those 6 meetings. I mean, they've owned Cleveland, both at home and on the road. And the only game that they didn't beat the Cavs in, they ended up losing straight up by like 30 points. It was just a no-show game. So they've taken care of business in spots like these against teams like Cleveland fairly consistently. I don't want the Cavs. I know that. You know, the Cavs got that win against Detroit, and that was their good game. And now Cleveland is at or near the bottom in everything. And, you know, I don't like the quotes coming out of the locker room. It's not a team that I feel is, oh, they're just about to turn the corner, or, oh, Cleveland's about to turn it on. No. So it's Toronto or pass already. The question is, do we want, and there's, 3 of these games like that. When you start getting into double-digit point spreads in the NBA, I tend to not get involved that often. Toronto can win this game. They can win it comfortably. They win by 8, all said and done. You know, it's, and especially because they've got second of back-to-backs tomorrow for the Raptors, which does concern me. I'd only play Toronto. I didn't get to the window. I wouldn't talk anyone out of it. It's a big public double-digit favorite. I don't love it. But that's the only way I would play it. I don't want Cleveland plus. Not in a series that's been this one-sided where Toronto has owned them, even with the Raptors injuries. Although, the Gasol injury matters. It really does. And especially talking about the hamstring that he was out with for so long. That's, and a newbie matters too. It's not like they don't have Toronto's depth is extraordinary. And that's how they dominate teams like Cleveland again and again, because the second units come in and the dominance is even greater than when the first units are in. So when Toronto's minus a little bit of depth, it does slake my interest a little bit.
Yeah, and Larry Nance talking about being more aggressive, and I don't want the Raptors at minus 10 here, but I want Siakam props, Ibaka props. Siakam's fine, but they're at 23.5, and the Ibaka props I want. The problem is that my book right now, 15.5 minus 140. I'll have to look at other spots and other books. I would prefer 16.5 at minus 110 for Ibaka. Right now, 15.5 at minus 140. Let's see what the threes for Ibaka are. Over 1.5 at plus 195. Ooh, I find that appealing. Oh, I find that so appealing. I'm going to have to... Okay, so I'm going to study Ibaka props after the show. I don't want to just rush something here, but I'm very, very interested in making moves on Ibaka props and threes. Plus 195 sounds very appealing. Sammy liking Fred Van Fleet over. Caleb Lewis says, I don't like laying double digits either, but the last few weeks they've been covering better than the short line, it seems. Ulysses Hayes in the house, thank you for joining us. And Michael S. saying Simmons ill. He's probable, though. Probable. And TJ coming in with his action. And Michael S. saying Horford out tonight. Horford is out tonight. Wow. I did not know that. Interesting. Thank you for sharing that. All right, let's keep rolling along, Teddy, on this NBA card. Let's see what's next here in my notes. And the next spot is the Hornets-Wizards. Wizards back-to-back games allowing 150 points. Hornets 4th in the NBA last 5 in pace. Hornets 30th in pace. And we cashed that under so easily against the Knicks 2 days ago. We cashed it by 20 points, 97-92 final. Charlotte, Washington, this total opened up at 227.5. That's where it stands right now. Washington opens up at minus 3.5. Now they're at minus 4. 30 points for Rozier in that 97-92 win. That stopped an 8-game losing streak. Wizards are playing so bad defensively. They begin a 6-game homestand now. They're 5-9 in January. When they played on November 22nd, it was a very high-scoring game. Washington won 125-118. Hornets won the rematch at home 114-107 on December 10th. Who do you think will dictate the pace here? Do you have an angle on side or total here, Teddy? Hornets, Wizards.
So my first lean was Hornets plus, just thinking we don't want to be laying any points with Washington right now, And then you start to look at the Wizards, and I started looking at the Wizards, closer. They're beating teams at home. All their struggles, all their worst struggles have come on the highway. And then the back-to-back 150 points where they're giving up, the Ole defense. It's been much more of a road issue for the Wizards. And overall, they've won 4 of their last 5 straight up at home, and including a couple of nice upsets during that span. So the quotes coming out of the Wizards locker room were god-awful. Everything sucks. The sky's falling. It was, hey, we'll get down to the grind. A couple of things we can fix. I thought it was very reasonable. And in a high-scoring game, and this is likely to be a high-scoring game, I don't want Charlotte. You want Charlotte in a game where you're betting the under, and if you get to 100, you're going to win. Asking this offensively challenged team to trade points with Washington's not something I'm willing to do. And the money's coming the Wiz today, which surprised me a little bit given their recent struggles. But given the success at home, given the talk in the locker room after the back-to-back 150-plus point defensive efforts, whatever lean I had towards Charlotte is dissipated. I'm leaving this game alone.
Yeah, it does seem like a tricky spot. Let's move on to Warriors, Celtics. Celtics open up at minus 12.5. That is where they stand right now. This total sits at 222. Warriors, Celtics. Warriors pace last 5, 10th in the association, 101.49. Celtics pace last 5, 15th at 100.5 possessions a game. Celtics wrap up 2-1 road trip with 109-101 win at the Heat on Tuesday. We cashed the under in that game. Celtics never trailed in the second half. Hayward, 29 points. Jaylen Brown, 25. It felt like they were clearly the best team, and I watched that entire game, and that was without Tatum, who was a right groin strain. He's been upgraded to questionable yesterday, so we will see. Steven says if he doesn't play tonight, he will be in by the weekend. Still no Enes Kanter for the Celtics. Warriors coming off 115-104 loss at Philly. Russell continues to be their only weapon and the only one doing anything for these Warriors, who've lost 4 straight and 14 of 15. This is the first game back in Boston since the tragedy with Kobe. Warriors, Celtics. What do you think here, Teddy?
So let's start with this. I don't expect Tatum to play for Boston, and obviously played a great game without him in Miami. But for tonight, it doesn't look like he's going to go. The Celtics have been decent in this double-digit chalk roll. They've been money winners, laying big points against lesser foes, which hasn't always been their role. I haven't generally liked to lay this type of price with Boston. I've always liked them, in the Stevens era, I've liked them as road dogs. I've liked them short chalk. I've never been a fan of them in this double-digit chalk roll. And when you look at the Warriors' last game, this is my problem with Golden State right now. All right, their last game is a classic example. All right, they're at Philly. They give a little bit of effort. They're trailing by double digits throughout, the fourth quarter. And there it is. Now your point spread on the line, final couple of possessions. What happens? The team with a double-digit lead plays Ole defense. Pascal comes down and hits an easy bucket. And then on the other end, the Sixers dribble out the clock. And lo and behold, you win by 11 instead of winning by 13. And that makes a difference between covering and not covering. Could that scenario take place again tonight? Absolutely. Could it take place repeatedly in Warriors games? Absolutely. They're a really difficult team for me to bet on or against, because we know they stink and they know they stink and everybody knows they stink and the markets know they stink. And every time they're on they're catching these big spreads, and even you're down 25 in the fourth, little flurry, starters come out, you can be sweating this. And those, those are not the games I like to get involved with. If I had to play this one, I'd probably look to the under. Considering the way that Boston wants to play, they don't want to push pace here. And they have a much bigger game against the 76ers coming up this weekend. So this is about win the game, shorten the game, get out of town. Or actually, the game's at home against Philly. But it's not a spot where I see the Celtics with any interest of pushing pace or putting their foot down on somebody's neck. Hard point spread, lean under.
Leaning under is an interesting look here. I was following that 115-104 loss quickly because I was asked on Twitter before the game started, the guy said, should I make a move on the Sixers? And I was like, man, I just feel like that spread's just a little too big. And lo and behold, they don't cover by the half point that it closed at. Teddy's already on the Jazz plus 1.5 which only leaves us with Kings, Clippers left. Sacramento, LA opening up at minus 13.5, which is where they stand now. This total opens up at 228, now 226. We know that George and Beverly are coming back, and this is the Clippers' first. Well, they played the night of the tragedy, the Kobe tragedy, but now this is the first game that will be at Staples, other than the Kings game in NHL last night. So there's going to be a lot of emotion in this game, and you have Beverly and George back. To me, this screams take the Kings plus 13.5. Kings lose last night badly. A play that Teddy said was the best spot of the entire year. We all cashed on it easily with the Thunder. So the Kings lose by 20 last night. Now they come into this Staples Center that's going to be so thick with emotion. No Marvin Bagley. He missed 4 straight with left foot soreness. He's going to be shut down at some point, it feels like. Bogdanovich is back. He leads Sacramento with 23 points. De'Aaron Fox goes for 19. This is screaming Sacramento Kings plus 13.5 to me, Teddy. What do you think here? Kings Clippers.
Yeah. The quotes coming out of the Clippers locker room, I have no idea we're going to see tonight. I really don't. I would not be surprised if LA leaves this game by 40 at halftime. All right. So Sacramento stinks. All right. And that was part of the bet that we made last night is Sacramento stinks. And now think about the spot for the Kings. Long East Coast trip. Fly home, back-to-back wins to close it out. Fly home, get wiped out. Now get back on a plane and go play a couple games in L.A. It's not an easy spot for Sacramento on the second of back-to-backs. They're not a good team. And if the Clips want to play, they can name the score. The question is, do the Clips want, what kind of emotion comes out of the Clips in this game? And of course, Paul George, an LA kid, Kawhi Leonard, an LA kid, meaning growing up in LA where Kobe is is your icon. They might destroy this team. It's within their capabilities, obviously. So I'd be a little bit reluctant to take the Kings. Again, I'm not a big fan of laying this 13.5, especially because who knows, they could come out flat as a pancake, but Sacramento's no good, man. The games that they're winning and covering are games where they're rallying from 17 down in the last 3 minutes and stealing stuff. They've done that a fair bit this year. I'd be a little, if I'm taking Kings, I'll take a piece quarter, a piece half, a piece game, as opposed to trying to put it all one way or the other. I want to hedge that out because, on the other hand, if they get wiped out early, I don't know if they're going to come back. I'm not playing it. Clearly.
It's a tricky spot. And everybody in the chat saying, man, Clippers smash. It's kind of pushing me towards these Kings at plus 13.5. I just feel like it's a spot where the Clip could be up, the Clip could be up 20-25 after 3 and rest everybody in the fourth.
Sure. There's a bunch of different ways to cover point spreads when you're double-digit chalk. Unfortunately, when you're double-digit dogs, but unfortunately, when you're double-digit dogs, that means you're also outclassed. So, they can get there, but, do I want to hope that they rally from down 25?
No, I feel you. All right, so at this point, Teddy is on the Jazz plus 1.5, and I'm only on the Sixers Hawks over 228, but I will be delivering some Ibaka props at some point very, very soon. Very, very soon. All right, let's get into NCAA basketball. Teddy, did you get to the window with anything?
I made 2 moves, and I'm still thinking about a third. And both my moves are in West Coast action. And they're actually betting numbers are right next to each other, which makes it nice and easy for us, as long as I can find them. Where the hell did they go? 675, Cal Santa Barbara. I laid 2. I missed the 1.5. I laid 2 with them on the road. They're in against Northridge. Number 1, Northridge is no good. Number 2, we like Santa Barbara on the road. Number 3, they're in revenge against this team off a home loss in which Northridge, they were just hitting every shot. They were raining threes. They had 50-something% from 3-point range. We've been back in the Gauchos on the highway pretty much, since November. As a veteran team, we like them laying less in these hostile road environments. And in a relatively short turnaround revenge spot against a team they're better than. I thought UCSB was priced really cheaply. That's one that absolutely jumped off the page at me. And I laid 5.5 with San Francisco. That's 6 now. I have no issue whatsoever. That's the betting number 677. Fading the Toreros at home is something I'm interested in. Because again, you don't have to lay 15 or 20 when you're betting against them at home. You're laying 6 with a team that's much better than they are. San Diego. They had that random road win last week, but they played a lot of lifeless, lethargic basketball, and they just can't put the biscuit in the basket. So I think the Dons will take care of business against the Toreros tonight. So that's the only 2 bets I made. 2 road chalk. Look at that. Santa Barbara -2, San Francisco -6. I'm still considering backing the Minnesota Golden Gophers plus at Illinois. The money's been going towards the Illini. At 6, I probably pulled the trigger there, and I just saw 6 pop up. That's the number I was waiting for. There's one out there now, and when I get off the air, I expect to bet that. So Minnesota plus against Illinois. I know the Gophers are coming off a bad loss at Sparty. They know they're coming off a bad loss at Sparty too. It's a step-up spot for them, and I think they're every bit as good as the Illini. So 6 was a strike price for me, and I just saw one pop up, so I'll be betting that. Hopefully it'll last for the next few minutes while we finish our discussion.
Teddy, we have some questions that have come in throughout the show here. I know we don't have a ton of time, but here are a couple of them. First from Fourth Eye says, can you ask Teddy whether we have to adjust our bet unit based on the ROI that we have? And he says, how does that work?
Adjusting your bet unit based on the ROI that you have. In theory, that's exactly what you're supposed to do. Okay? Whether and the theory and the practice are often difficult. All right. And I talk about, hey, I see a great bet. I talked about Oklahoma City last night where I'm like, this is as good a bet as I've seen. All right. So I think that's a positive ROI situation. So I'm going to bet more on that game. And you're allowed to do that. All right. That's perfectly normal to have step up size wagers. What you don't want to do is have your standard unit 1-1-1 and then your step up size wager is 10 of those, because then that puts a little bit too much emphasis on those big games as opposed to everything else that you do. When you're talking about adjusting unit size, all right, what I like to do at the start of the season, this is my unit size for this sport. And that's based on previous track record. It's based on how well I feel about the sport going into the season. And it doesn't change that. Well, once you find it, that's what you're comfortable betting on any given sport, and that's your unit size. You can readjust as the season progresses, and you can certainly readjust during hot and cold streaks. But again, I'm not talking about if you're betting a unit size is 100, and you say, all right, well, now I'm hot, let's make it 500. No, it's all right, I'm doing good, let's readjust. Now my unit size is 120, or 150. So the adjustments in season are modest for me. But the answer is yes, you do want to change your bet size based on your ROI. That's in one word, yes is the answer.
Yes is the answer. Next up from Drew Daddy says, Jimmy, can you ask Teddy about what side and total would he play for a spread pool? He's 1 point behind the leaders and needs to gain ground. This is about the Super Bowl.
You're 1 point behind the leaders and you need to gain ground. Then you said leaders multiple, and that's an issue. Okay, because if it's a leader, you can just do it. If you have access or the ability to know what they're playing, you can just play the opposite, or play one the same and one the opposite. But if it's leaders in front of you, you just have to do what you do. All that said, everyone's going to play over. If you're in a contest, you're 1 game behind. I would probably play the under. As much fun as that's going to be. But you can be confident that the people ahead of you are more likely to be playing over in this game. Sidewise, I'm hearing two-way action. I'm hearing a little bit more support for Kansas City, but it's not a flood of KC money. But total-wise, what I'm hearing is that, every Joe is on the over. So if you want some variance, play the under and then do what you want to do with the side.
I love it, Teddy. Thank you so much for joining us. Teddy is on the Utah Jazz. He's also on Cal Santa Barbara and San Francisco. Did you get in on the Dons -5? Did you get in before it moved to 6?
No, I got 6 on the Dons.
You got 6 on the Dons. Okay, -6 and -2. And also about to get to the window. Do you expect to get to the window on that 6 in Minnesota?
I think it's still there. So yeah. Again, if that was my strike price for the Gophers. I was waiting for a 6, and now that we've seen one, I'll bet it.
There we go. Those are Teddy's looks today. We have Teddy back on the show tomorrow. Teddy, thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy your Thursday, and can't wait to have you back on the show tomorrow morning.
It's always a pleasure, Jimmy. I'm trying to remember like a day that we had a bad show or there was no fun or that you and I didn't like each other, or that the low baggers were mad at us. It's not that way, man. It's all good every day. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Enjoy the games tonight, guys. Good luck, and we'll talk again tomorrow.
We love having you on the show. Follow this man on Twitter at Teddy_Covers. I am tripling up on Serge Ibaka props. I'm on the now. There's a ton of juice on the over 15.5 points. I'm going to take it anyways. Over 15.5 points. I'm also taking the over points and rebounds, over 24.5. Over 24.5 points and rebounds. And I'm also going to make a move on over 1.5 3-pointers at plus 195. Over 1.5 at plus 195. So the rebounds is minus 130. The points is minus 140. And the over 1.5 threes is plus 195. There we go. So I'm tripling up on Serge Ibaka props. It is now time for Maxwell Smart, fresh off an 11-2 night in college basketball. Rafa, my man, could you please roll the intro?
It wasn't until 2018 that the Diamond in the Rough went from hooligan to king of the world.
The guy couldn't play for shit, dog. He was awful. But can he cap? Guess he can.
Max, how are you doing on this Thursday morning, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing good, Jim, but you know how it's been. It's been a seesaw effect, so I'm cautious and going into this card with a little more exclusivity.
I feel you. You've also hit 6 of your last 7 best bets. Matt Randall's hit 3 straight taint play of the days. The boys are rolling right now. Let me pull up your action from this card, and it's going to take me a second. Max, why don't you pick a spot, and while I add your looks to my worksheet, why don't you pick a spot that you're liking a lot?
Yeah, okay, so let's start off with a side and total in the Summit League with IPFW and the over 144.5. These are 2 spots I think both have good value when it comes to the situation. I think that with IPFW, you can sort of expect them to fall behind early on in games. That's a little bit of a hindrance, but as handicappers, we can take advantage of that with a first half bet on North Dakota. When I look at this game from a matchup perspective, there are some really good advantages for this IPFW team, and I think that they're going to have to really take advantage of that on their home court. When you look at North Dakota, they can be a little bit slow, and they can be a little bit they are heavily reliant on Marlon Stewart handling the ball. I think that if you are determined to attack the rim and really help defense to come along and give the referees a decision whether or not to blow the whistle or not, it's going to benefit you. However, I will say that I think that Matt Holba is going to have good matchup advantages from an offensive perspective. I think he's going to be able to score the basketball. I think that with Jared Godfrey, this is a guy that averages 16.5 points per game. He gets on the glass. He's going to force a turnover too, and he's a decent ball distributor at 6'5", which gives you some good size. It's going to be important for IPFW to really snap out of this cold losing streak that they've had, because let's face it, you're on a 4-game losing streak. You played some of the topper competition in the conference, and I think that this is a situation where you get right. My numbers really like the IPFW on the money line and up until 3.5, and like the over to 147.5. I will point out that IPFW has been playing a little bit slower tempo, and the defense has been a little bit more leaky, but I still think that this game gets over with North Dakota's efficiency on offense, and then IPFW being able to match it buck for bucket. So
I like it. We have started with 2 looks. Max is on IPFW and the over 144.5. Has this Mount St. Mary's Sacred Heart game popped off yet?
Yes, no, I don't think that's actually started. They're still in the TV intro. They're talking about keys to victory right now.
It says here, okay, Sacred Heart, Mount St. Mary's. Are you making a move on it?
I didn't like the number that you can get on Mount St. Mary's, so I didn't make a play on it, but that's the way that I would have been leaning. I think that they can win this game. I think that with the young kid Clark, I can't remember his first name. He's definitely coming in with some scoring prowess and some good ball distribution skills to take over for Cameron Parker, who's out for the season or out for at least the foreseeable future. But when you lose your point guard, regardless of how you try and slow the tempo down, you're going up against a team like Mount St. Mary with good guard play and Malik Jefferson up front. I think that they're going to be a lot to handle for Sacred Heart. So looking at Mount St. Mary, but if anything comes up live while we're on the show, I'll throw it out there.
I love it. There we go. We've started off with IPFW and the over 144.5. Let's go to California, where Teddy's given us Cal Santa Barbara and San Francisco. Max is looking at two different spots. Let's start with Long Beach State against UC Riverside, opening up at 7.5 point dogs. That's where they stand right now, and that's where, you jumped in. You got them at 8, and I'm on a Pinnacle opener. I'm going to move over to 5 dimes right now. Tell us why you're on Long Beach State plus 8 at UC Riverside.
Yeah, this is a spot where Riverside has definitely been very lethal at home. We can tell by their 9-2 home win-loss record. But when I look at Long Beach State, this is a Long Beach State team that I think is going to be able to score on UC Riverside's defense. I think that they move the ball from side to side well. They have 3 or 4 guys that can really penetrate the bucket consistently. They're not going to fall in love with a three-point shot if it's not dropping. And that's what I like about Long Beach. What I also like about Long Beach is the fact that during conference play, this is a team that's shored up some defensive leakage that they had during non-conference. This is a team that definitely starts a little bit slow, but I think that against Riverside, knowing what the opponent's capable of doing with guys like Dikembe Martin and Chisholm, I think that Riverside's going to be in a position to win the game, but I do not think that they're going to be in a position to cover multiple buckets. This is a Long Beach State team that doesn't take a lot of threes, but makes a decent percentage of them, and they can get to the free throw line with some decent consistency. I think that as long as they don't get killed on the offensive glass and they can cut down on some turnovers, they're going to be able to stay within this game.
All right, there we go. Long Beach State at plus 8 right now. We stay out west in California and talk about Cal Fullerton. Cal Fullerton is another spot that you're on at Cal Poly. Open up as 1.5 point favorites. You got in at -2. They've already moved to 3.5 at Pinnacle, 3 at 5 dimes. Why are you back in Cal State Fullerton?
Yeah, I think that with this Fullerton team, this is a team that's just been able to really put some wins together since Jackson Rowe came back into the lineup. They've been able to win on the road. They've been able to win at home. And I think that they've really turned a corner when it comes to scoring. These are 3 games where they've gone above 65 points. Ordinarily, I'd be looking at Fullerton and an under in this situation, but this could be a game where I play an unconventional bet, and I sell some points on the over, I sell some points on the under, and do it at odds that I would be able to make a profit as long as one of them cash. But for the show purpose, I think that Fullerton wins this game by close to double digits. I think that when you have Jackson Rowe really being the energy force on this offensive attack, Austin Awiska and Brandon Kamaga, they don't have that much defensive pressure on them. I think that when you don't double team guys that can score and drive, it ends up being buckets. And I think that we're going to see Fullerton really take a step up, and it's going to continue against Cal Poly tonight.
Cal Fullerton. Don Carleone says Poly is terrible. I agree. We have questions coming in. Let's lock in to Matt, and I've copied and pasted those questions that you have. Here you go. Also 420 Fuego and Ulysses Hayes. Let me get those very quickly. All right. And Taint Play of the Day is in. We will talk about that as well. Let me just copy and paste these over here, and then let's keep rolling. Keep rolling. Also, we have Prince of the City giving us his tennis looks. I have copied them for the Australian Open. We are trying to get him on the show, and we want to have him on the show badly moving forward. Why don't we move on to your look on High Point, Max, at plus 11. You got them. They're now 10 plus 10 points across the board. Why are you backing High Point this evening?
Yeah, I think that I'm just going to continue a trend of what I've been doing. High Point, anytime that I can get them at double digits, whether it be on the road or at home, I'm going to take them. This is a team that I think has turned a corner as far as offensively. I think that now they're capable of scoring 70 points in a game on a more consistent level than they were earlier on in the season. I also think that when you get the development of John Michael Wright, you're going to get better offensive performances. When this young buck has stepped up, he's been able to do some good things for this High Point team. I think that when you look at High Point, they're not going to really challenge Campbell at home to win this game by my estimations, but 11 or 12 or even 10 points is just a little too much. It's just a little too much. So if you want to throw in Curtis Holland and his efficiency at the line, this is a High Point team that's going to make their free throws. They're going to score with the shot clock stopped, and I think tonight they're going to stay within double digits. I don't know how else to explain it. My numbers really like this. The stats really back it up, and then from watching this team play, I think that they're going to get up for this, and I think that Campbell's going to want to limit possessions, slow the game down, and that fits High Point staying in it.
High Point plus 11 is where Max got them. Plus 11. They opened up at 11.5 of 5 dimes. They are now down to 10. Let's take a look at South Dakota. That is Max's next look on this card. There we go. South Dakota at Denver. You jumped in on South Dakota at -6. It is now 6.5, Max. Why are you backing South Dakota on the road at Denver?
Yeah, with South Dakota, we've talked about them many times. I backed them a couple times on the show. This is a team with good upperclassmen scoring. These are guys that can make buckets when you need them. This is a team that can come back from behind. This is a team that shoots high percentages, whether it be from inside the three-point line or behind the three-point line. They're an efficient field goal shooting team, and I will say that Denver's done a good job of covering and staying in games at home. But when you're talking about 6 or 6.5 points, this is a margin that I think that they can succumb to. So when I look at South Dakota State, this is a team that, like I said, shoots the ball very well. And when you look at their games specifically, this is a spot where you want to sell points on the over. When I look at some of these South Dakota results, I don't see a game that's gone over by less than 10.5 points in their last 10 games based on the closing line. And when it comes to Denver, Denver has been able to score the basketball. They've been a good candidate to go over. And when you look at their games, they've had margins of over-under plus margins of 10 plus points up until 20. So the way that I'm looking at it is we already have my South Dakota play. I know that you guys are a little shaky on my totals, but this is another spot where I'm going to take the over, and I'm going to end up selling points on my own accounts. So, Jim, what can you get me on the over in this Denver-South Dakota game?
Let's grab that over right now. While I am grabbing the over, let's celebrate here that Max has passed the 50 games over 500 mark at 51 games over 500. Nice work, Max. Rafa, my man, can you please put up Max's college basketball record, as he is now 51 games over 500. And I'm going to grab the totals here right now. And here they are, pumping up on my screen. Come on, hurry. And then there we go. What a good-looking record, Max. All right, South Dakota. All right, we can offer you in the South Dakota Denver spot. It's gone up. It opened at 150 at 5 dimes. You can now get 150. It's up to you. 151 at -113 is a 1.5 better. That's at BetOnline. It's a 1.5 better than Pinnacle's offering. 151 at -113 or 152 at -103.
Never mind. No, I can't take either numbers. Sorry, Jim.
No problem. No problem. You got to be. Jermel Wright already on this over. Let's keep rolling, Max. Questions coming in. We're going to ask you a couple questions. Then we are going to move on to. Your additions. First question comes from Dana Delp. She says, Iowa versus Maryland, Max. Gerald Martinez says, Iowa didn't have CJ Frederick last time and still worked Maryland. Now I'm getting 6. Sign me up. Guru Sports Bet says, Iowa all day. Take the points, Max. Iowa, Maryland.
Yeah, I hate to like agree with how easy this spot looks. It makes me question it that much more. My only issue with taking Iowa on the road is now we've seen Jalen Smith be able to shoot threes. He's been able to shoot threes and make threes. That's going to open up passing lanes for guys like Ayala and Daryl Morcell. And I think that we get to the point in the season where we're going to start to either see Maryland for the team that I thought that they were or the team that they've been. I would be definitely backing the points. It's the only way to play it in my opinion, but I'm not going to make it official for the show.
All right. Max, how many editions do you think you're going to make just because you have a ton of questions coming in, and I just want to know for time, how many editions are you expecting to make?
Yeah, I only have a couple editions that I want to make.
Okay.
Like
well,
3 or 4. So.
Why don't we get to your editions now then, because we're going to have time for all the questions. What's your first edition on today's card?
All right, so we're going to go to this, I call it UEPUE game, so IUPUI. We're going to go with the team total over 68. This is a spot where I think that they definitely played a game out of character their first time out. Going to like an 80 to 82 game, but I do think that when you look up the matchups, they're definitely going to be able to score against each other again. I don't think that it gets 20 points over the total, but I definitely think it goes over. When you look at IUPUI, what have they done? They've been able to get over 68 points in a significant amount of their games, and specifically on games in games on the road, aside from the Detroit University game. So this is a spot where I think that IUPUI is able to get enough points, and both these teams go to the free throw line. So if it's a close game, I expect them to be fouling to the end, and I can trust IUPUI with volume free throws to make maybe 16, making maybe 20, depending on how aggressive the offense is running through Marcus Burke.
All right, IUPUI over team total over 68. What did you get juice-wise?
Minus 116.
Over 68, minus 116. Okay, Max, what's next?
We're gonna go to this world. We got another play in this Cleveland State IUPUI game. This is a spot where I see a significant edge for Cleveland State early on in the game. When I look at this Cleveland State team, obviously they've really turned a corner, but it's more really just a play against IUPUI in some of the slow starts that they've had. This is an IUPUI team that can give up 40 points in a half, and they've done so over the last couple games, not including an overtime game. I think that Cleveland State is going to be able to score just enough points to get over and cash this spread in the first half.
All right, let's grab it right now. Also, if you are enjoying the content you are seeing, please hit the link at the bottom of the screen, www.sbrvideo.com/thebag, to ensure that we can keep delivering it for you. All right, Cleveland State, first half. I have a -3 at +100 to offer you, or a -2.5 at -110?
Minus 2.5 at -110.
Cleveland State -2.5 at -110, and that's Cleveland State first half -2.5 -110. Okay, keep rolling, Max. You have another one?
Yeah, so we're going to go to this UIC Youngstown State game. This is a spot where I definitely think that there is some revenge situation for UIC. My issue is, how is UIC going to play? I've seen Marcus Audie and Tarkus Ferguson and Godwin Bowen, have less involvement in the offense, more involvement from guys like Jordan Blunt. I expect UIC to be able to really pressure Youngstown State early and force guys like Akuchi and Dontrell Cathcart and Covington to really put in shots from the perimeter. I think that Illinois Chicago is going to be able to grind it out, and by the numbers for first half specifically, this is where I think that UIC is going to have an advantage. I have them having about a 5-point advantage. So if I can get UIC at a plus price, it's definitely worth a bet. It's definitely worth making official for the show.
Plus price or plus points?
Plus points, excuse me.
Plus points. And Max's first half play of the day yesterday on Cal Baptist was a minus 109 on the money line first half. They won the first half by 14 points. All right, Max, let's take a look at this first half spot here quickly. Oh, man. Okay, sorry. Okay, here we go. Opened up plus 1.5. Still can get plus 1.5. Plus 1.5 at minus 110 for UIC. Does that work?
Yes, it does.
All right, UIC first half plus 1.5. UIC first half plus 1.5 and minus 110. All right, Max, keep rolling. Anything else?
Yeah, we're going to just add one more, and that's going to be this Austin P team total over 82. This is an Austin P team that we've really watched ascend to the top of the Ohio Valley Conference, and I think that tonight against SIU Edwardsville, they're going up against a team that wants to go up-tempo. They've done that quite well over the last couple games. I think that this is an SIU team that is able to get to 75 points. I think Austin P is going to be thrilled with that type of tempo, and I think that they're going to be able to match and oblige. This is a team that's been able to go over 82 points in 4 straight games, and I expect them to be able to continue that. I don't think that there's a drop-off, whether it be on the road or at home. When you have Scary Terry Taylor and Jordan Adams and company, I think that you got enough scoring right there, and if not, this is a team that has very good ball movement. They get to the free throw line, and they shoot the three as a team at 42%. I think that Austin P is going to get us this over in the 82, over 82 points on the team total. And I think that Austin P also wins this game and covers the double-digit spread.
Do you want them on the double-digit spread or just the team total?
Just the team total.
What's the juice?
Minus 122.
Minus 122. All right, I'm tailing 3 looks of Max's here. Sorry, let me copy this right quickly. Copy here. Also, Austin P is a look that our Matt Randall is on. Not the taint play today, but there it is right there. He's on Austin P minus 16.5. He's on UTSA minus 3.5. Arkansas State minus 1.5. And his taint play of the day, Arkansas Little Rock minus 6. Arkansas, Little Rock, minus 6. Okay, I'm on Cleveland State first half, minus 2.5 with Max. UIC first half, plus 1.5 with Max. And Austin P, team total over 82 at minus 122. Cat Money Benny says, ready for Max's play today. You're going to have to wait a few minutes longer because we have some questions that we want to fire at Max. First question, Max, what do you think of, and I mean, I know you love him as a capper, but what do you think of Matt's look, taint play today on Arkansas, Little Rock? Okay, sorry, let me move over to full game. Come on, full game, spreads and totals. And move over here. Get this up, please. Matt got in at minus 6. And please, hurry up, computer, please. There we go. And I can get in on Arkansas, Little Rock right now if I so choose at that minus 6 and minus 105 at Heritage. It opened at 7.5 and has come back down. What do you think of him taking Arkansas, Little Rock at home against Coastal Carolina?
Yeah, Coastal Carolina is definitely a dangerous team at home. Definitely on the road, they're a little more susceptible. I think that against Little Rock, you've definitely seen them really step it up. And then it obviously starts and ends with Marquise Noel, him being the floor general, him being able to really be the key scorer really is going to play a big factor. Another factor is that you got to keep Kamani Johnson on the floor. You got to keep him out of foul trouble, and then he's going to give you a beautiful double-double. I think that Riyad Munyung, the junior college transfer, definitely gives you some good scoring, good length, and he can protect the rim, and he's a good help defender. So they have the recipe to win this game. 6 points seems like a reasonable price. It's just really about controlling Coastal Carolina and not allowing guys like Devontae Jones to get off and really be able to drive and penetrate to the rim. Coastal Carolina does a good job of shooting the three. They're going to have to be efficient at defending that. But if the taint play of the day is liking this, I'm liking it as well.
All right. Gonna copy and paste Rod Zawacki's look. Okay, questions coming in, and we don't have too long, so let's try to be tight with these questions. First one is, God, way up here. From Greg Ruiz, what do you think of Towson at minus 10.5? It's down to minus 10. Open at 11.5 at home against NC Wilmington.
Yeah, I didn't really like or have an edge on this play, total or sidewise. So most of the CAA I avoided today.
Huge card, so you can pick and choose what you want to focus on. Here's a spot from our PD Picks. He wants to know, Max, do you like Oregon tonight on the road at Cal? Open up as 11-point favorites, now 10.5-point favorites on the road.
I definitely think that Oregon should win this game, but what have we seen from Cal? Cal's been able to really stifle, really been able to defend, really able to take fast operating teams out of their tempo. Doing that against Stanford at home was quite impressive by my stretch, but the way that I look at it is I would have to look at Cal as a double-digit home dog, and then I'd also be looking at the under. I have to see someone speed up Cal and get them into a game in the 130s before I take them before I take their opponent as a double-digit favorite on the road.
Next question comes from our guy 420 Fuego. Does Max like FIU at home -2 against Marshall?
That's another conference that I'm just not really too high on today. I think that the line's just about right. I think that if anything, I'd be looking towards the under in that game, but I haven't made a bet either way.
All right. Next up is Ulysses Hayes. Oh, that's the same FIU moneyline spot. Okay. Next up is from Neil P. Neil P, can you ask Maxwell about UAB versus UT? Let's go to that spot right now. UAB against UTSA. So we've already seen Matt Randall give out UTSA at -3.5, I believe. Rod Zawacki give out UTSA at -3.5. Yes, Matt Randall on UTSA -3 at home against UAB. What do you think of this spot?
Yeah, I think that it's a strange number. I would have had UTSA as more of like a 6 or 7 point favorite to open this line. This is a UTSA team that finally is getting some good point guard play, and that's allowing Keaton Wallace to play off the ball, and that's been very beneficial for him and Javon Jackson scoring-wise. This UTSA team's been very efficient and good ATS at home since conference season started. I'd be looking at UTSA first half and then reanalyzing what I've seen, what's gone on at the half, and try and make a second half play. I'm not very comfortable taking UTSA full game at this time.
A lot of guys asking, and I know you're not watching it live because you're here with me, but a lot of guys asking about live plays in Mount St. Mary's, Sacred Heart. Is that something you can't do, obviously, because you're not watching it, or should I just move on, or what do you think?
I have it on, but right now Mount St. Mary's is a 1-point game and it's a low-scoring game, so we've sort of missed the time to jump on the under. And from a side perspective, I don't see any value because it's a close game, and I'm not going to get the line that I wanted with Mount St. Mary yet.
All right, there you go. So, follow him on Twitter. Max will be working on college basketball all day long. We got G-Sauce in the house. More questions coming in. This one's been asked by a couple different cappers, and we're running out of time fast. Pepperdine, BYU opening up at -13.5, now all the way down to 12.5, all the way down 1 point. Pepperdine, BYU, Max.
Yeah, I would be looking at Pepperdine. This is a spot where Pepperdine can shoot their way into backdoor covering this game. I think that with BYU, this is definitely a step down in competition, less intense, and less on the line. I think that they win the game. I just don't think that this is just a couple too many points.
Couple too many points. BYU 13-point favorites. The next step is from our VAGT. Badge T10, wanting to know about App State at Arkansas State. Arkansas State opening up at -2.5 now. 1.5's on the board, Max. Total gone from 137.5 down to 135 or 134.5, Max. App State, Arkansas State.
Yeah, I was originally looking at Arkansas State even at 3, and now that it's gone down to 1.5, it's really shooed me off of it, and really had to relook at this game. I think that Arkansas State definitely has turned a corner because they were not as decent at home in the non-conference, but now that they're in conference, they've been quite efficient there. I think with App State, it really comes down to, is Justin Forrest going to have a good game? If Justin Forrest has a good shooting game, then App State can win this game outright. If not, Arkansas State cruises.
Man, I was hoping to have our Prince of the City on the show to talk tennis, and he's given us looks. And he has a question in college basketball. I'm going to go over his looks when we close up the show. But he wants to know about Georgia State. And so does Don Carly wants to know about Georgia State here. Georgia State at home against South Alabama. Opening up at -7, now -5.5. What do you think of Georgia State at home against South Alabama?
Yeah, I'd be looking at South Alabama, but it's not going to make my board either way, guys. Sunbelt's just not my favorite conference today. Didn't have any opening line edges for the most part when it comes to side and total. I look at South Alabama as being a team that will eventually come out of its shell and surprise us. I just don't want to be on the other end of it when it happens. And I think that when you have Trey Mitchell, excuse me, I forget his first name. It's Trey Mitchell, and then you have Joel Ajay. There's a lot of front court scoring that you have for that South Alabama team to go along with guys like Andre Fox and Chad Lott. It's a lot of points. I'd feel more comfortable taking Georgia State if they were a 2.5 to 4.5 point favorite, but a 6.5 or 7. That's where I would have taken South Alabama. So it's no play for me either way. Sorry about that.
No worries. We have one more look, then we're going to get to the best play of the day. Datfire TV asking about, oh, by the way, Jeff Lewis saying App State rolls. Rod Zwacky already on Georgia State -5.5. Matt Kratcha, by the point, has Georgia State -4. Datfire TV and Atticus Zool asking about Gonzaga. And Datfire TV wondering about Gonzaga first half. Full game, opening up at -16 at Santa Clara, now -16.5. What do you think about our Zags this evening?
Yeah, it's an interesting spot to get on, and it's going to be something I look at heavily once the games are going on. It's hard to ignore the fact that Gonzaga's been able to do what they've done in first halves. It's hard to ignore how much volume scoring that they've been able to put up. If you have a book that allows you to do race to a certain amount of points in the first half, taking Gonzaga blindly 40 to 45 is something that I've been doing with the Sports Keg CEO. I expect Gonzaga to continue their dominance in first halves of games. I expect Santa Clara not to lose by 50, but I don't think that they're losing by less than 20. So over Gonzaga first half, Gonzaga full game, and definitely looking at those races to points with Gonzaga at a nice plus price.
Max, my man, it is now time for the play of the day. Rafa, could you pop up the play of the day record? Max cares about these plays of the days so much. And I was telling him, Max, maybe you're caring about them too much. Got to let go a little bit and not stress yourself out. He's now hit 6 of his last 7 plays of the day, Max. What's next for today's play of the day?
Yeah, so we're going to go to a conference and a team that I like to bet on, I like to watch, and that's New Jersey Institute of Technology. NGIT has been very, very lethal and efficient at home and on the road in first halves in conference season, and specifically the last 5 games. I think that tonight with Zach Cooks really taking over the offense and getting points, whether it means sharing the ball or not, is going to be able to do that again against North Alabama. I'm not saying that NGIT wins and covers this game full game. I am saying, however, that they do catch North Alabama sleeping a little early, get out to a decent lead, and cash us this first half. I think with NGIT, they got good rim protection from Suleimani Diakate, and I think that as long as you get some action from San Antonio Brinson, I think that you're going to be just fine. So NGIT is a number that, once again, just like the Cal Baptist, just like the Syracuse first half, that the numbers really like, and there's a major discrepancy. So we're going to ride it again, and we're going to take NGIT first half -2 at -115.
Very interesting stuff coming from Max. Very interesting stuff coming from Poker Addicted, a.k.a. Piker in the house, about backing the Hawks and the Jazz. Max, you have a choice here with this NJIT first half. You want a -2 at -115 or -2.5 at -105?
No, I'll take the -2 at -115.
NJIT first half -2 at -115. I will tail the play of the day as well. All right. So let's take a look and put a bow on this show. I'm on Cleveland State first half -2.5 -110. These are tails of Max. UIC first half +1.5 -110. Austin P team total over 82 at -122. I am then tailing the play of the day, NJIT first half -2 at -115. And I'm also tailing Taint. Arkansas Little Rock -6 and -105. Taint and I will be spending the night together. Max is on NJIT first half. That's his play of the day. Austin P team total over 2. The UIC, the Cleveland State first halves. He's also on IUPUI team total over 68. Cal Fullerton -2. High Point +11. IPFW -2 and over 144.5. Long Beach State +8. South Dakota -6. And UC Irvine -4 and a half. Shady, we've gone 6 minutes long, and there's more questions coming in. I'm sorry we didn't get to enough games. I'll tell you what, Martin Riggs and Jin, that Teddy Covers did get to the window as soon as Minnesota got to +6. And Max, a lot of people asking about this Murray State spot. I know we got to put a bow on this. Do you have a less than 30-second idea of this Murray State at home against Eastern Illinois, opening up at -6, now 5.5 for 6?
Yeah, I don't have a play on the spread. I took the over on this game. I think that this game gets into the I think that both team gets to 80. So the over, that's a strong play. But because of how I struggled with totals on the show, I didn't want to give it out. Prince
of the City is leaning towards theme. Shit, I don't know how to pronounce his name in the semis tonight up against Zverev. Believes that he's 6-2 heads up against Zverev, and he's backing him. In the women's final, Prince of the City is on, says Barty gave away the match to Kenin. She does lean one, but Muguruza, he's on Muguruza. Kenin played tight and was lucky to win on Muguruza, and thinks Joker will beat whoever plays in the final. That's from Prince of the City. I'm sorry we didn't get him on the show. TJ's on Radford, NC Asheville, Stanford, Colorado, Riverside Pacific, and San Fran. Matt Randall, play of the day, Arkansas Little Rock -6. He's also on Arkansas State -1, Austin P -16.5, and UTSA -3. Guru Sports Bets is on Washington over Arizona today. From our Big Ragu props for the Super Bowl is on Jimmy G, longest rush over 2.5 yards. Tyreek Hill over 5.5 rush yards. Hardman 20-1 first TD, 4-1 any TD. Sanders first TD at 12-1. Mahomes 2 TD passes in any quarter +450 and over 11.5 rush yards at -110. Mark Unkefer is hit back-to-back plays of the day. He's on Western Kentucky -2.5. Alex Ramirez, Spidey play of the day. Coyotes -1.5. In NBA, I tripled up on Ibaka props. This Jazz look makes a lot of sense to me. And I'm going to tail Teddy Covers and Poker Addicted on the Jazz at +1.5 right now. I'm going to make a move on the Jazz +1.5 right now. Jazz +1.5. I'm getting at -105 at Heritage. Jazz +1.5 at -105 at Heritage. The only other look I'm on is that total over 228 in Philly, Atlanta. Those Ibaka props are going to be $100 bets. They're not going to be the 150 I usually make in NBA. So I'm going to, make them half unit plays, which is what I do in college basketball. In NHL, I'm on the Sabres -1 and the Coyotes -1.5. What a treat it is to roll with you guys. Farshad Asami, Jackie Treehorn, Riku Roxas. Oh, there's Noli Nose with an under. Oh, got to copy and paste that immediately. Rod Zawacki, Don Carleone, Roman Pedal, Tazira Tibbs, Mally Mal, X3 Bros, Ryan Kozlowski, Noah, our guy Noah, Nothing Ordinary Sports. All you guys, thank you so much. If you could do us a favor, I will never sell you anything ever. But if you hit that link at the bottom of the screen, that would mean a lot to me. www.sbrvideo.com/thebag. That takes you to our best sports books page. Max, could you leche us out of here and stay hot, Max? Stay hot. You saved my night last night. Can you leche us out of here, my man?
Yes, I will try and stay hot, and of course, leche, los bookmakers.